Hey everyone, it's Chris coming to you tonight to talk about emotional distress and emotional damages as a whole in a car accident case or a personal injury claim. And so a lot of times whenever you're in an auto accident and you've been hit by somebody else and you did nothing wrong, it can be super stressful. Like you can have anxiety or panic attacks afterwards, and stressors when you're out driving again. I've known people that don't sleep well after accidents because they keep rerunning the accident in their head, things like that. But the true question then is how do you actually then get compensated for your emotional injuries? And I think it can actually happen in a couple areas within your case as a whole. So one of the things that you can do is actually look to see a therapist or counselor that can help, with what I would call the PTSD from the auto accident itself, from the thing that caused your injuries. And so then as you're doing that, then you've got something where, somebody else, a therapist is going to diagnose you, but then there's also a record of you seeing somebody on a regular basis for this emotional issue. And then the other thing is too is to keep track of what we call your non-economic damages, which are going to be things like your pain and suffering, things that you can't do as well now after the accident that you could do prior to the accident. But some of those things could be stressors, right? Because if, for example, prior to the accident, you did a ton of landscaping around your house, but since then that piece of it's been taken away because you hurt your hand or something like that from the accident, now you've got emotional stressors there going, I've got to hire somebody, it's not being done the way I wanted to, or it's going to take longer, or what have you. So you just want to document that. We always recommend keeping a journal or putting it in your notes in your phone of when those issues pop up and arise. But the one thing too that we're taught when we were in law school and tort law is the idea too that it is very difficult though just to prove emotional distress as the sole issue, as the only thing. And I was recently listening to Matthew McConaughey's book, Green Lights, where he talks about this one time where his dad was hired an attorney whenever he was younger, and they were going to sue somebody for emotional distress. But that's always a thing, too, where emotional distress as a whole is usually an add on to other things. So here, if we look at what are the damages, in an auto accident, we have true injuries. If it's, soft tissue, if it's a broken bone, if it's, fracture, something like that, cuts and bruises. And then in addition to that, you've got the emotional distress as well of all of that. And so emotional distress, just remember, it's going to be a thing that's usually connected to or connected with something else. Because on its own, not that it can't be proven, but it's just more difficult to prove as a solo issue. And so those are just some thoughts today on kind of the emotional distress side of things for you. So if you guys have questions about that, if you've been in an auto accident, are kind of running through some emotional headaches and things like that, feel free and reach out to us. I'll put the contact info out here. So if you've got that, you can contact the lawyers over at Springs Law Group. Phone numbers down below. But we're happy to kind of help you walk through that and find the right path to kind of get to a spot where you can not only address the emotional distress that you're going through, but also ultimately help conquer it. So if y'all have any questions, feel free to reach out to us, and then we'll talk to you all tomorrow. Bye now.